It's coming out okay. Hey! 1 minute. I don't mean to do this on the fly. I just forget. Let's see. 5. How's that? Beautiful. Friday, 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 Friday. It's Friday. Friday! 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 Pirate Radio. Friday! I need some veggies. Low sodium for my health. Well, that's 1 minute down. It's 5:07 p.m. It's 42 degrees. The sun's down, so it's getting chilly fast. Today's high, only 47. That must be why I put on an extra layer, because by the time I left the house, it was still just barely above freezing. And this shirt is a very thin shirt. Look, you can see right through it. Well, not really. But definitely not one you would want to go out in the 30-degree weather with. And I'm sure by the time we leave the Target Center, pardon me, because we won't take the Skyway system, we will walk outside. It'll be cold. But it's okay. Kim will have loaned me the famed season ticket holder scarf, and this part of my body will be warm. And that's really all you need. The hair kind of takes care of the rest, right? So much to talk about. Not really. Josh Howard is in. He is wearing number 5. He will play tonight. None of the injured people came back, so Peck is out. Pardon me. Roy is out. Barea is out. They're all going to get 4 or 5 more days off because after tonight's game against the Warriors, which we might, there's probably no chance we're going to win. Sorry, Wolves. Hey, prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. 5 days until the next game next Wednesday against the Denver Nuggets. Denver Nuggets? So. That's all the basketball we want to talk about today. Stop playing with your hair, Chris. Okay. Do you actually watch these, or you just listen to them? I usually have them on in another window, so I don't notice how much I'm fidgeting. Or else I would do it less. Clearly, after doing 204 of these, I have not updated my presentation in any way. And I haven't lost any of the weight I thought maybe I would lose if I kept looking at my fat face. But actually, if I grow a beard, I look a lot slimmer and trimmer, but I could just lose 50 pounds too. Well, it's not something you can do just like that. Plus, I really like food. I really like really crappy food that's bad for me too. Speaking of which, all anyone's talked about for the past 24 hours is Hostess. Hostess is going into bankruptcy. Hostess is not only going into bankruptcy, but they're shutting down, and there'll never be a Twinkie again. Oh my God! Oh no! Because we've all had Twinkies every day for the past 20 years. I haven't had any Hostess in forever. I really can't remember the last time I had a Hostess item, or what it was. Was it a Ding Dong? Was it a Twinkie? Was it a Snowball? I don't know. I want to say that there's one of those outlets, where like the day-old baked goods get sold for cheap prices. I want to say there's one really close to work, but it's not, is it? I think it's a Tasty, which is not actually like Hostess. It's more like a bread baker, but I don't know. I guess once I started making a certain amount of money, I stopped going to them outlet places. Although when I lived in Sunnyvale, just down the street was an Oro Wheat outlet, and that was a great place to get cheap Boboli. You could get half-price Boboli anytime you wanted. So if you're going to have Boboli that night, just get the half-price Boboli. I wonder if it's still there. Because basically, there was my apartment, there's just so much convenience. I was across the street from a 7-Eleven, which was right next to the strip mall that had the main grocery store and a Pizza Hut and a donut shop, which took over the video cassette rental place. Actually, both of those closed. They were replaced by a bagel place. But it had a KFC in it, gas station, and again, you would walk one block. You've walked another block. That was the Oro Wheat outlet. Or am I remembering this right? I'm pretty sure. Keep walking and you end up at the post office. That was my way of getting exercise, was I would walk to the post office and back, which is where the P.O. Box was in Sunnyvale. So now you've learned something about me. I lived in that apartment for almost 7 years. Wow. Is that right? Was it 6 years? I think it was 6 and a bit. And moved in 1995. I moved out, was it 01 or 02? It was 02. So, wow, over 7 years. And during that time, there was the internet boom and the beginning of the internet bust. And I saw my rent double. And then just before I moved out, it started to go back down again, but not quickly enough. Plus which I needed more room because I was letting a girl move in with me. We all know how that turned out. This mostly came about because of a tweet from Doug saying, "Can you talk about the death of Twinkies in your video tonight?" The bottom line is, I am too old for that shit, so it doesn't really affect me. Now, if I had a child, I would probably care a lot more because the child would probably really like that stuff. Although, I don't know how often they would have gotten it. I certainly didn't get it too often when my parents were packing lunches for me. But they would do fruit pies, and they would do my favorite, which was the chocolate-covered vanilla pudding pie. The pudding pie was the bomb. And it wasn't even the fact that it was covered in chocolate. That was just kind of a nice bonus. But having that vanilla pudding, really the best of all puddings when you think about it. My wife will argue otherwise, but that's the one I like. Putting that in a pie. The chocolate pudding pie was just it was like a fruit pie. It wasn't dipped in chocolate. And it was just the crust, and that wasn't as great. Nowadays, I always make that Oreo pie. And it's that one with that Oreo pudding. But you make it a little bit differently so it becomes a pie filling, and then you put it in the special Oreo crust because you buy it at the store because everything's pre-made, and Cool Whip on top. I haven't done that in a while. But the bottom line is I have not had to host this thing in forever. It may have been, in fact, I may have been in California the last time I had one. So I'm not going to miss a thing. It will make watching Zombieland all that more bittersweet, though. There was a tweet from Dave Meltzer earlier today. If you didn't see it, I retweeted it in GIF form because someone made a GIF. By the way, Jif is a peanut butter. It's GIF. One of the UFC guys who loves wrestling did a whole Shockmaster entrance, complete with trip, fall, losing the mask, and it was pretty good. And it caused Meltzer to tweet, "How is it that every MMA reporter knew the reference to an obscure WCW incident from 20 years ago, yet none knew who Ryback is?" Really? First of all, really? Really? Maybe, I don't know. Dave went on to tweet, "Ryback is the pro wrestling equivalent to Bob Sapp in 2002, except probably not as good in arm wrestling." In any way, how in any way is Ryback the pro wrestling equivalent to Bob Sapp? First of all, what's Bob Sapp then if he's not pro wrestling? Is that an MMA thing that I just don't understand because I'm not into MMA like Meltzer is? Or is it something more like motorcycle riding or crocheting or playing records? That whole thing just baffles me. I can think of no way where Ryback and Bob Sapp are to be related except for the fact that Meltzer knew who they were and nobody else did. I don't know. I wanted to compose that into a tweet of my own, but I just couldn't wrap my head around how I would put in 140 characters. On what planet? What do you mean? I don't know. Dancing, maybe? Bob Sapp did a lot of dancing, right? But not in 2002, right? I mean, it's not... I don't know. Oh, man. I got a comment from Rich on Facebook. He's not going to read this, as he doesn't read any of these anymore. But because yesterday was 10 minutes on the dot, and I can see I'm already over on that, I usually post something like 10 minutes on the butt. Because saying 10 minutes on the nose is boring. But it always seems to get a comment from somebody, and it was from Rich yesterday. He said, I haven't watched since that great Rich's 15 Second of Fame episode. 10 minutes on the butt? Apparently I ain't missing much. By the way, Thursday Night Football, another's modern abomination. I responded with, on the other hand, I watched Jersey Shore. To which he responded, now that's 10 minutes of butt. Thanks, Rich. Someone will read this to you someday, I'm sure. All right, let's find Greg's comment on the W, and then I'm out of here for the week. Hooray. Got to go to the Target Center and see me some basketball. You'll know how many people are at the Target Center by how often I'm able to tweet or post pictures. When there's a goodly sized crowd, as there usually is on a Friday night, there is no network available for my phone and nothing gets out. So by the time I get my halftime tweet out, it's about the end of the third quarter. So depending on how close to halftime my halftime photo is, and I'm kind of making that a tradition now. Greg goes back to Wednesday. While watching Wednesday's video, I was nearly yelling at the screen. It's Alexi Shved, man. 418 before you came up with it? Come on, man. Hey, you try remembering something on demand. Like, if you asked me who the 9 players were now, do you think I would do any better than I did last time? Maybe. Since I'm wasting time. Derek Williams, Luke Ridenour, Andrei Kirilenko. The other 2 starters. Malcolm Lee. Derek Williams. Andrei Kirilenko. Man, I'm getting worse. Derek Williams, Malcolm Lee, Andrei Kirilenko. See, I can't do it. I'd have to be writing it down anyway. And then Lou Amundsen and... he says Lou. As for Lou's foul shooting, it may have seemed like a billion foul shots, but it was only 1 for 4. Yeah, he had all 4 of them at the same time, pretty much. Almost, just about. So, now we got Josh Howard. We'll see what happens. Are you on Darko Watch as well? Celtics have played 9 games, and Darko's played in 1 of them. It would be funny if it weren't so tragic. Derek Williams, Malcolm Lee, Luke Ridenour, Andrei Kirilenko. I can't even name the 5 starters. I can give you 4. Lou Amundsen, Dante Cunningham. Is Dante starting? Maybe. Maybe. Alexi Shved and Josh Howard and one more guy that I forgot. It's probably a white guy, right? All right. That's enough for overtime. Thank God I put 3 minutes of me going, So thank you for watching. We've made it through another week, you and I. And now we're all a week older. So think about that. I'll see you Monday. I love you. I thank you for watching. As always, feedback is highly encouraged, and will be roundly mocked. Goodbye.